So, now on to number 2. Continuing on of a comic-filled and reedy episode.
Don't forget the spoiler warning.
Super duper spoiler warning.
Just reminding you.
And we mentioned this earlier. It's a thing I've been reading, caught up on this weekend. It is Doomsday Clock. Look at that nice cover. It's Rorschach with the Trinity symbols on his face. Mm-hmm. But Doomsday.
Sorry. I was just going to say as a leading in, I'm a huge fan of Watchmen. A lot of people are. Just because it is like one of the best comic series of all time. And up front, I was not okay with them merging it with the greater DC universe, but it seems like they've done a good job. So give it a shot, and Quin's going to tell you all about it.
I am. So for the past couple years, it started with a Batman Flash crossover called The Button.
The Bat Button.
Kind of. It was
better than the Bat Penis. That was a thing. Like a couple months ago, they showed Batman's.
What was it? It was the first Batman issue from the Black Label, which is the more adult DC comics. They showed.
I would hope so.
It was like more like the Bat form ish, I guess. Or was it?
It was a whole penis.
I'm sorry. I guess all I saw was the blurred out version. Thank God.
But and all the reprints, because they got not really backlash. It's like y'all can't put a whole penis in the comics. So now in all the reprints, they kind of blackened that area out. So those who got a whole bat penis.
You were lucky.
Yeah.
Count yourselves lucky.
It's gonna be worth something someday.
What did I walk into?
But
okay, yeah, back on track.
The that penis. I'm sorry.
The penis.
The Button. That's where I was. Batman Flash, and they were trying to find the Watchmen. They found the comedian's button. They're like, "What is this?" Oh, it's the button from the comedian. The comedian, wasn't he part of the Watchmen? Yeah. Well, where are they? So they ended up.
When you say the button, you mean like comedians?
Yeah, like his little smiley.
That's what he just said.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Button.
I'm sorry. I missed it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Continue.
And then, it went through some things. Reverse Flash just kind of got disintegrated because of Dr. Manhattan, but didn't know that at the time. And through the series, this little 12-part deluxe series event, you've learned a lot. Like, there's been interactions between the Watchmen and like all the Justice League, certain members, but mostly it revolves around the fact that Flashpoint, New 52, a lot of major events that have happened in the DC comics weren't the people's fault whose fault it was. Yeah. Like
a lot of retconning is basically what you're saying.
Kind of a lot of retconning, but it was a greater overlapping mystery that no one really noticed until now.
So they did it right. It wasn't just kind of like by the way.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Cool. I like that.
For years, everybody thought, the New 52 happened because Flash went back in time and he created Flashpoint, which created a whole nother series of events. But turns out Flashpoint was just another timeline that was created by Dr. Manhattan, and he was the reason that it existed, and Flash just kind of happened to stumble upon it. And you have, slowly everyone coming together, trying to find Dr. Manhattan, trying to figure out why he's doing this, why he keeps messing with things. And when you found Dr. Manhattan finally shows up, he is like, I have a vision. Like, this vision is of Superman showing up a month from now. And he and I meet. He's like, I'm going to put an end to you. And then there's nothing. And he doesn't know. Like, he looks ahead a year, a day, and a millennia. And he said there's nothing. And he doesn't know if he destroyed all of existence or if Superman killed him. But he met Superman. They fought on Mars for a second, and he put Superman in a coma. And everybody's still like, what's really going on? Lex Luthor figures everything out. He tries to, go to Lois and this issue and tell her everything, but Lois is like, I don't trust you, and she's gonna shoot him in the face.
Oh wow! So she killed.
She
Luther?
hasn't killed him. Like, she's like, if you don't like what I'm saying, he says to her before he gives her a gun. She points at his head. He's like, if you don't like what I'm saying, just pull the trigger. And then they haven't talked again because in this
Not that
issue,
he's built a reputable reputation.
because he's a bad guy, real bad guy.
Right.
But also in this issue, which is my favorite, Dr. Manhattan fights basically all the members of the Justice League and every other team DC has, and he takes them all out without even really trying. Like, they throw everything they have at him. He says Firestorm is probably the only one that has any sort of chance of beating him because their powers are very similar to each other. You learn Firestorm was an accident. He was on purpose, and Dr. Stein's a dick.
Dr. Stein.
Yeah, Dr. Stein, the other half Firestorm. You got Dr. Stein and Roddy? Oh, crap. No.
Rowdy Piper.
Nope. I can't remember his name. It always happens.
That guy.
The other guy. Rowdy, it's with an R, but Dr. Stein was basically working for the government, and he was like, I can create Firestorm, which would be this ultimate weapon if we ever need it. And so he tricked Ronald. That's his name. Yep, he tricked Ronald, and like they ended up getting caught in the nuclear explosion, and they end up fusing together, but turns out Dr. Stein was trying to do that on purpose.
Oh.
So it was
not an accident.
No. But yeah, y'all have questions. Ask questions.
So, all right. So basically, like, Dr. Manhattan is indestructible. He is the ultimate overpowered hero/villain. Still trying to find that out if he is the villain or the hero, and he doesn't remember.
Hold on, I'll show you. Oops, I'm scratching things. He remembers, but like, so even like right here, I went too many pages ahead. He is going back in time and looking at basically all of existence.
Mm-hmm.
And like he smooth is looking at like Superman's first ever appearance, and then he just keeps going through.
Can you show?
Yep.
Hold it up.
Oh,
so they can see too.
1 second, everybody. This is hard to turn because they make these pages like, where is it? It's over here.
Yeah. So the first Action Comics where he's lifting the green car.
That's Superman right over there. No.
Dr. Manhattan goes back and sees that.
Okay. There we go. Yeah. Seeing that he's going through all of history, just like looking at all of it and how it keeps like restarting itself and why there's so many different iterations of basically everyone.
Of the entire DC universe?
Mostly Superman. He's really focused on Superman because he's trying to figure out like, A, can he beat me? And B, why is he the one that beats me? And then Kid Flash, when he disappears and he's in the Speed Force, he actually ends up running into Dr. Manhattan. And he's like, tell him, you can't do this. And he's like, no, I'm going to still do this. That's just... What is that? Oh, him saying a friend of his died, but at the end of that panel, this is the last thing he says.
He who? Dr. Manhattan?
Dr. Manhattan. He says... I have become the villain right there.
So we kind of knew that, but now we've seen it unfold.
Yeah.
And so, who did he just kill?
He didn't kill anyone. He saw...
Oh, he saw the death of...
He saw his friend's death.
Okay.
And he's like, in like 10 seconds, he's going to die, and then he gets shot back in the head.
Wow. Okay. So this is a huge, crazy, interwoven mystery figuring out how Dr. Manhattan has seen the end of either his days or the end of days.
End of the metaverse.
The metaverse, which is...
Like all of existence.
All of DC's... Okay, so it's the entire DC universe, including all the parallel universes, all the versions, like the reality in its entirety.
Yes.
Okay. That's huge. Lydia's just like, I'm gonna be quiet in this one.
I don't know what to say.
It's, well, good luck whoever.
So for the average person, this is a pretty deep read.
Yeah, like there's a lot of history in each one of these because there's so many. They introduce like so many characters in ways that you haven't seen them interact with each other before, and it's like,
I mean, beyond the obvious Watchmen universe and DC universe.
yeah, like Rorschach and Joker running across each other.
Right.
It's just really, it's just Watchmen in the DC universe though. I mean, they're the same universe kind of.
Now,
Yeah.
I want to see Rorschach and the Question meet, just because they
I
are
don't have time for that.
so
headache.
similar.
That's just a headache that someone's gonna get upset with. So, but there's been there's tons of interesting interactions. Actually, in issue 7, they actually found out how to drain a, what is his name? I can never remember names when I need to remember names. He wears a headband. He's a Watchman. It's not Asmodeus. Is it Asmodeus?
Oh yeah, I'm confused about how to say his name because I've heard Osmondeus, I've heard Ozymandias. I don't know. I know it's an ancient
Asmodeus.
Egyptian name. That's all I know.
I'm gonna say Osmodeus. Figured out a way to drain a Green Lantern ring, not ring, but a Green Lantern and use that power.
Of course, because he's who he is.
Because he used it on his cat, so his cat could be a conduit to summon Dr. Manhattan.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, this is deep.
Yeah, and it gets really weird, and Lydia's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, she's
I'm
not
like,
here for
cat. Oh no.
this. So he takes a Green Lantern power and puts it in his cat and uses his cat to summon Dr. Manhattan. Wow, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's beyond the comic book science that I'm aware of, but I know that Ozymandias, however you say his name, if you know conclusively how you say his name, then put it below. I know in the movie, I think that's why I say it the way I say it, but
What are they gonna do?
Boom.
Type it?
well, they can put like the pronunciation
phonetic,
and stuff.
phonetics
Just
for it,
it's like
maybe.
we read it in a dictionary. But he's a super genius, obviously, and the perfect man, and all this. And
Dr. Manhattan or the other dude?
the Ozzy.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily, well, he is a metahuman, but he is a super genius.
Yeah, that's his power, basically.
And so much so that he put Dr. Manhattan in checkmate,
Yep.
which is huge. Without Dr. Manhattan seeing it, who can see all realities and
Literally
all
everything.
iterations of everything all at once.
Bro,
He's existing on all planes of
conversation.
existence. Yeah.
Yeah, had conversations like 10 seconds in the future. He's like, sorry, I was having a conversation 10 seconds from now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Which, yeah, I mean, if you check it out, it doesn't really make sense, because how can he be preoccupied with a future self? Because that future self is having the conversation, not his present self. But anyways,
Okay.
yeah. Before we get into all that, yeah. So this has blown my mind. This is too deep for me.
Super deep.
I'm drowning in all this right now.
It's partly the reason why it hasn't like blown up as much as it maybe not should have, but it's more like for like those super deep comic readers that love Watchmen, that love like all of DC's super duper stars. This is for you.
I can't wait to see. I bet when it concludes, then, you know, and everything is wrapped and they put a ribbon on it, put a bow on it, that's when people are going to be like, this is a masterpiece.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
This is
If it doesn't end up like Game of Thrones ended, TV show.
They usually don't screw the pooch with us that much.
So also just to mention, the Watchmen series that's going to be on HBO coming up, looks like it's happening after the comics, And it's not necessarily the same exact timeline where everything happened, but maybe. We're not really sure. But it looks like, of course, New York was destroyed in the comics, and not in the movie, because I want to say that the TV series looks like it's more connected to the actual comic than the movie that skipped out on the whole alien thing. The alien squid deal. So New York has been destroyed. They're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's like the new nation capital or something like that. And because it's like central, I guess. I don't know. But for whatever reason.
We don't live far from Tulsa, so for us,
Yeah,
that's
it's like 2 hours away. So it looks like because Rorschach at the end of the movie, even though Ozymandias was able to put Dr. Manhattan in check, and him not be able to stop the nuclear explosion and all the stuff that Ozzy had set up to put everything in check and balance and all that kind of stuff. Basically Thanos type situation. Rorschach was going to tell everybody, and because it was the right thing to do, and that's Rorschach is unyielding, uncompromising, even in the face of destruction and all that kind of stuff. So Dr. Manhattan destroyed him in order to keep the balance. So it looks like in this TV series, but before let me go back a step. Before Rorschach went to confront Ozzy and Dr. Manhattan, he had a journal, which is the entire Watchmen's comic series is following his journal, right? So he sends that journal to, I forget, whatever right-wing newspaper.
Yeah.
And at the end of the series, of course, Rorschach is destroyed, but his journal lives on, and it has been put in the hands of somebody else. So in this series, looks like they've published his journal. They have his journal, and it's begun a cult. And that's why you see all these people saying TikTok to each other, and it's like this cult, and all these people are wearing Rorschach masks, even though Rorschach is deceased, and all this is going on. And it looks like it has gotten out of hand to the point where it is utter chaos, just like Manhattan predicted. And the police have even started to use superheroes as deputies.
What is it called again? I forgot.
The Watchmen, or Watchmen's on HBO.
So isn't that
Regina King is in it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Regina King.
Mm-hmm. And shoot, I can't remember his name. Guy from Miami Vice, like OG dude. Yeah.
Why isn't it coming up?
Watchmen.
Well, I typed that in too, and it didn't come up.
He made it.
Man, M-E-N. There it is.
Watchmen.
Yeah, TV series. Yeah, Watchmen. And it is it's written and produced by Damon Lindelof, who did The Leftovers, Lost.
It's got Jeremy Irons, John Johnson, Regina King, Jacob Ming Trent, Tom Menson, Tim Blake Nelson.
Yeah. Don Johnson is the guy that I was talking about from Miami Vice. Yeah, so Jeremy Irons is old Ozzy. And so he's like trying to figure out, all this chaos and put it back together.
They couldn't pick no one better.
If you're not excited about anything else for The Watchmen, just be excited that Tim Blake Nelson is in it. He is from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, and several other.
And Holes, and just so many things. He's just so great.
Really
If you're not excited about it for any other reason, watch it for
Buster
that.
Scruggs.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, a lot of Coen Brothers movies.
Yeah. Every Coen Brothers movie.
Basically. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a great series. Hopefully it's something that I could really sink my teeth into, and maybe we'll cover on here. It depends on how things go with the live setup and all that kind of stuff. Because if it's live, then I'll actually have time to get into that type of thing. And you all right there, Quinn?
I'm good.
You look like a turtle. Turtle.
Master of disguise.
who had a birthday recently.
Martin Short.
Can I punch you in the face?
She hates it when I do that. So we've spent a lot of time on this topic. Is
Dana
there anything?
Carvey.
Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey. I never can remember how his name is
Dana
put together.
Carvey.
Dana Carvey
Yeah.
had a birthday recently.
I don't know why I said Martin Short. I always get those two confused because they're.
Siri, how do birthday? And Google birthday for me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Siri.